Hello, everyone. Welcome to Headline Spotlight, where we bring you the top news from around the globe. I'm your host, Frank King, and here's what's making headlines in the past week of August 2024. United States news. Trump's 2024 campaign rally in Florida. Former President Donald Trump held a major rally in Florida this week, rallying support for his 2024 presidential bid. The event saw thousands of supporters in attendance and featured fiery speeches on immigration and the economy. Trump reiterated his campaign promises and criticized current administration policies. Harris's economic policy proposal. Vice President Kamala Harris unveiled a new economic policy proposal aimed at boosting job creation and supporting small businesses. The plan includes tax incentives for startups and increased funding for job training programs. Harris emphasized the need for innovation to drive economic growth. California wildfires intensify. Wildfires continue to ravage parts of California, with new blazes igniting in the northern regions. Thousands of residents have been evacuated, and air quality has deteriorated significantly. Firefighters are working tirelessly to contain the fires amidst challenging conditions. FDA approval of new Alzheimer's drug. The FDA has approved a new drug for Alzheimer's disease, marking a significant breakthrough in treatment. The drug, developed by a leading pharmaceutical company, is expected to offer new hope for patients and their families. Clinical trials have shown promising results in slowing disease progression. New York City housing crisis. New York City's housing market is facing a crisis with skyrocketing rents and a shortage of affordable housing. Mayor Eric Adams announced new measures to address the issue, including increased funding for affordable housing projects and rent control reforms. Supreme Court decision on voting rights. The U.S. Supreme Court made a landmark decision on voting rights, affirming the constitutionality of recent changes to voter registration laws. The ruling has sparked debates about its impact on election accessibility and voter turnout. Massachusetts healthcare system overhaul. Massachusetts is embarking on a major overhaul of its healthcare system to improve access and affordability. The new legislation includes provisions for expanded insurance coverage and increased funding for community health centers. Texas border security bill. Texas Governor Greg Abbott signed a controversial border security bill into law, which includes measures to increase patrols and build additional barriers along the U.S.-Mexico border. The bill has been met with mixed reactions from lawmakers and advocacy groups. Chicago's crime reduction initiatives. Chicago is implementing new crime reduction initiatives in response to rising violence in certain neighborhoods. The measures include increased police presence, community outreach programs, and investments in youth services. NASA's Artemis I mission update. NASA has provided an update on its Artemis I mission, which aims to return humans to the moon. The mission is on track for its planned launch, and recent tests have demonstrated the spacecraft's readiness for deep space exploration. Asia news. China's economic growth slows. China's economy has shown signs of slowing growth, with recent data revealing a dip in industrial production and retail sales. The government is considering new stimulus measures to support economic recovery and stabilize the market. India's space mission success. India's space agency ISRO successfully launched its latest mission, aiming to explore the moon's south pole. The mission is seen as a significant achievement for India's space program and enhances its position in the global space race. Japan's new defense policy. Japan has unveiled a new defense policy focusing on enhancing its military capabilities and regional security partnerships. The policy is a response to growing regional tensions and aims to bolster Japan's defense infrastructure. South Korea's trade dispute with Japan. South Korea and Japan are engaged in a renewed trade dispute, with South Korea imposing new restrictions on Japanese imports. The move is seen as a response to ongoing diplomatic tensions between the two countries. Philippines' typhoon recovery efforts. The Philippines is intensifying its recovery efforts following a devastating typhoon that caused widespread damage and displacement. The government, along with international aid organizations, is working to provide relief and rebuild affected communities. Myanmar's political crisis. Myanmar's political crisis continues as clashes between the military and opposition forces escalate. The international community has called for dialogue and a peaceful resolution to the ongoing conflict and humanitarian crisis. Singapore's green energy initiatives. Singapore has announced new green energy initiatives aimed at reducing carbon emissions and transitioning to sustainable energy sources. The plan includes investments in solar power and electric vehicle infrastructure. Hong Kong's new national security law. Hong Kong has introduced a new national security law aimed at addressing perceived threats to state security. The law has been met with criticism from international human rights groups concerned about its impact on freedoms in the region. Taiwan's military exercises. Taiwan has conducted large-scale military exercises in response to increased military activity by China in the region. The exercises are intended to demonstrate Taiwan's readiness and defense capabilities amid growing regional tensions. Vietnam's economic reforms. Vietnam is implementing a series of economic reforms to attract foreign investment and enhance its manufacturing sector. The reforms focus on improving business regulations and infrastructure to boost economic growth. Europe news. EU's new climate policy. The European Union has introduced a comprehensive climate policy aimed at achieving net zero emissions by 2050. The policy includes stricter emissions regulations and increased funding for renewable energy projects. UK's cost of living crisis. The United Kingdom is grappling with a cost of living crisis as inflation rates rise and energy prices soar. The government is considering new measures to support households and alleviate financial pressures. France's pension reform protests. France is experiencing widespread protests against proposed pension reforms that aim to raise the retirement age and reduce benefits. The protests have led to disruptions and heightened tensions across the country. Germany's energy transition challenges. Germany is facing challenges in its transition to renewable energy, with delays in the rollout of wind and solar projects. The government is working to address the issues and ensure a smooth transition to sustainable energy. Italy's political turmoil. Italy is facing political turmoil as a coalition government struggles to address ongoing economic and social issues. The instability has raised concerns about the country's future direction and governance. Spain's tourism boom. Spain is experiencing a tourism boom, with record numbers of visitors arriving this summer. The influx has provided a significant boost to the economy and the hospitality sector. Netherlands drug policy debate. The Netherlands is engaged in a heated debate over its drug policy, with calls for reform and stricter regulations. The discussion focuses on the effectiveness of current measures and their impact on public health. Sweden's defense spending increase. Sweden has announced a substantial increase in defense spending in response to growing regional security concerns. The increase is aimed at enhancing Sweden's military capabilities and preparedness. Poland's judicial reforms controversy. Poland's judicial reforms have sparked controversy and criticism from the European Union. The reforms are seen as undermining judicial independence, leading to tensions between Poland and EU authorities. Greece's refugee crisis management. Greece is intensifying its efforts to manage the ongoing refugee crisis, with new measures aimed at improving conditions in refugee camps and processing applications more efficiently. Rest of the world news. Brazil's Amazon deforestation surge. Deforestation in the Amazon rainforest has surged in Brazil, raising concerns about environmental impact and indigenous rights. The government has faced criticism for its handling of environmental policies and conservation efforts. South Africa's energy crisis. South Africa is facing a severe energy crisis, with frequent power outages and instability in the national grid. The government is exploring solutions to address the energy shortfall and improve infrastructure. Australia's Great Barrier Reef restoration. Australia has launched an ambitious project to restore the Great Barrier Reef, which has been severely affected by climate change. The project includes coral planting and water quality improvements to support reef recovery. Canada's Indigenous Land Rights Settlement. Canada has reached a historic land rights settlement with several Indigenous communities, providing compensation and recognizing their rights to traditional territories. The settlement marks a significant step toward reconciliation. New Zealand's Climate Change Action Plan. New Zealand has unveiled a new climate change action plan focused on reducing carbon emissions and promoting sustainable practices. The plan includes initiatives for renewable energy and conservation. Saudi Arabia's Vision 2030 progress. Saudi Arabia's Vision 2030 initiative is making strides with new projects aimed at diversifying the economy and reducing dependence on oil. Recent developments include investments in tourism and technology sectors. Argentina's economic instability. Argentina is grappling with economic instability, marked by high inflation and currency devaluation. The government is implementing measures to stabilize the economy and address financial challenges. Egypt's archaeological discoveries. Egypt has announced a series of significant archaeological discoveries, including new finds in ancient burial sites. The discoveries provide insights into Egypt's rich history and attract international interest. Turkey's Syria border tensions. Turkey has reported increased tensions along its border with Syria, following recent military clashes and security incidents. The government is taking measures to address the situation and ensure border security. United Nations General Assembly preparations. The United Nations is preparing for its upcoming General Assembly session, with discussions focusing on global challenges, including climate change, geopolitical conflicts, and international cooperation. The session will bring together world leaders to address pressing issues. That's all for this week's edition of Headline Spotlight. Join us next time for more updates from around the world. I'm Frank King, and thank you for watching. Hello and welcome to today's Spotlight story, where we bring you the most compelling and thought-provoking news from around the globe. I'm Frank King, and today's story takes us to Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, where a tragic event has gripped the nation and sparked a massive search and rescue operation. On August 23, 2024, an Indian tourist named Vijayalakshmi Gali was swallowed by a sudden sinkhole on the bustling streets of Jalan Masjid, India, right in the heart of Kuala Lumpur. Vijayalakshmi, a 32-year-old visitor, was walking with her family when the ground beneath her feet gave way without warning. She disappeared into the earth, leaving behind a scene of chaos and desperation. The incident occurred in a popular area known for its vibrant markets and local attractions, making it a frequent destination for tourists and locals alike. Unfortunately, this part of the city has recently seen several infrastructure issues, leading to dangerous conditions like sinkholes. Immediately after the sinkhole opened, search and rescue teams swung into action. The operation has been anything but straightforward. Rescuers face numerous challenges, including unstable ground conditions and high water levels in the sewer systems beneath the city. Multiple agencies, including the Royal Malaysia Police, the Fire and Rescue Department, and even Kuala Lumpur City Hall, have been involved in the extensive efforts to locate Vijayalakshmi. Despite their best efforts, the rescue team has not yet been able to find her. Scuba divers have scoured the sewers, and advanced technologies like telescopic cameras are being used to navigate the debris and backlog in the search area. Yet, as of today, the search continues with no significant breakthroughs. Authorities are taking every measure to prevent further incidents, including conducting soil tests and temporarily closing nearby markets to ensure public safety. It's a tense and emotional situation for everyone involved, particularly Vijayalakshmi's family, who remain hopeful for her rescue. This tragic event is a stark reminder of the vulnerabilities present in urban areas, especially in rapidly developing cities like Kuala Lumpur. Infrastructure failures, such as burst water pipes, can lead to catastrophic outcomes like the one we are witnessing now. Kuala Lumpur has experienced similar incidents before, including a major sinkhole in 2014 caused by a burst water pipe in the Golden Triangle area. As the search efforts continue, authorities are focused on not only finding Vijay Lakshmi, but also understanding what caused this sinkhole to prevent future tragedies. The community is rallying together, showing resilience and solidarity in the face of uncertainty. Thank you for tuning in to today's Spotlight story. We'll keep you updated on this situation as it unfolds. I'm Frank King, and until next time, stay safe and stay informed. Welcome to today's Story Spotlight. I'm Frank King, and today's episode dives into a tragic and shocking event: the sinking of a super yacht off the coast of Sicily, which claimed the life of British tech tycoon Mike Lynch and 6 others last week. Our story unfolds off the beautiful coast of Sicily, a region renowned for its stunning landscapes and rich history. The incident occurred in the early hours of August 22, 2024, when the luxury super yacht Sea Mirage met a catastrophic fate. Among the victims was Mike Lynch, a prominent British tech entrepreneur known for founding the software company Autonomy. Lynch, a key figure in the tech world with a substantial fortune, was aboard the yacht with 6 other individuals, including crew members and guests. The exact identities of the other victims have yet to be fully disclosed, but they are known to include Lynch's close associates and family members. The yacht sank in the waters off Sicily's southern coast, near the island of Lampedusa. Witnesses reported the yacht experiencing distress signals shortly before the sinking. Local fishermen and nearby vessels were among the first to respond, but despite their swift action, the situation proved dire. Rescue teams, including the Italian Coast Guard and international search and rescue units, launched an extensive operation over the next few days. Efforts included aerial searches, underwater investigations, and coordination with local maritime authorities. Sadly, the search yielded no additional survivors, and the operation transitioned to a recovery mission. Preliminary investigations suggest that the sinking may have been caused by a structural failure or an explosion on board. However, authorities are still examining the wreckage and interviewing witnesses to determine the precise cause. As the investigation continues, potential legal ramifications loom. Family members of the victims, as well as business associates, may seek accountability through legal channels. This could involve examining the yacht's maintenance history, the actions of the crew, and compliance with safety regulations. Incidents involving luxury yachts are not unprecedented. Similar tragedies have occurred in various parts of the world, including high-profile cases in the Mediterranean and the Caribbean. These incidents often highlight the risks associated with maritime travel, particularly for high-value vessels. The sinking of the Sea Mirage is a somber reminder of the unpredictable nature of maritime travel and the importance of safety measures. Our thoughts are with the families of the victims during this difficult time. We will keep you updated as more details emerge. Thank you for joining us on today's Story Spotlight. Don't forget to subscribe for more updates on major stories from around the world. I'm Frank King, and we'll see you next time. Welcome to another episode of today's Spotlight Story, where we bring you the latest and most compelling news in science, space, and beyond. I'm your host, Frank King. Today, we turn our attention to an important decision from NASA that underscores the inherent risks and meticulous decision-making involved in space exploration. In a move emphasizing safety and prudence, NASA has decided to return Boeing's Starliner spacecraft to Earth without astronauts Butch Wilmore and Suni Williams aboard. The decision to conduct an uncrewed return allows NASA and Boeing to gather more critical testing data without exposing the crew to unnecessary risks. Butch Wilmore and Suni Williams have been aboard the International Space Station since June, supporting various research and maintenance tasks while also conducting Starliner system tests. They were initially scheduled to return to Earth aboard the Starliner, but recent safety concerns have prompted a change in plans. NASA Administrator Bill Nelson emphasized that spaceflight is inherently risky, especially when it involves test flights which are, by their very nature, neither safe nor routine. He stated, "The decision to keep Butch and Suni aboard the International Space Station and bring Boeing's Starliner home uncrewed is the result of our commitment to safety. our core value, and our North Star. NASA and Boeing face several technical challenges with the Starliner, including helium leaks and issues with the spacecraft's reaction control thrusters. These problems surfaced during Starliner's approach to the space station in June. Since then, teams have been rigorously reviewing data, conducting tests, and developing contingency plans. However, the uncertainties and lack of consensus among experts on these issues did not meet NASA's strict safety and performance standards for human spaceflight. Ken Bowersox, Associate Administrator for NASA Space Operations Mission Directorate, praised the teams for their thorough analysis and transparent discussions throughout the process. He remarked, "We've learned a lot about the spacecraft during its journey to the station and its docked operations. We also will continue to gather more data about Starliner during the uncrewed return and improve the system for future flights to the space station." The Starliner is set to make a controlled, autonomous re-entry and landing in early September. Wilmore and Williams will continue their duties on the ISS and are now scheduled to return home on a SpaceX Dragon spacecraft as part of the Crew 9 mission, alongside 2 other astronauts. This change in plan means that NASA's upcoming Crew 9 mission, set for launch no earlier than September 24th, will now include Wilmore and Williams. NASA and SpaceX are currently working on reconfiguring the Crew 9 Dragon to accommodate them, including adjusting cargo and preparing Dragon-specific spacesuits. NASA's Commercial Crew Program, in collaboration with SpaceX and Boeing, continues to strive towards a goal of safe, reliable, and cost-effective transportation to and from the International Space Station. This collaboration is critical as NASA prepares for future missions to the Moon under the Artemis program and eventually to Mars. As we move forward, it's clear that every mission provides valuable insights that bring us closer to achieving our long-term goals in space exploration. And remember, space travel is a journey of discovery, not just about where we are going, but also about how we get there. That's all for today's Spotlight. Stay tuned for more updates on this developing story. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to today's Spotlight story for your daily dose of news from around the world. I'm Frank King. Thanks for watching.